I keep coming back to this debate, but like I said, I haven't watched the debate. I just watched clips from it. Well, I watched the recording of it, but not all of it. And I kind of feel like Kamala Harris got the upper hand on Donald Trump that night. A lot of people thought that the moderators was being biased towards Donald Trump, and they were only fact checking him. So the Washington Examiner has an article where they fact checked Kamala Harris's claims, some of her claims. And the article says they fact checking the Harris claims that ABC News would not. I have to go and fetch my article before I get into this, y'all. Give me a moment and let me do that, and I'll be right back, okay? Well, all right. BuzzSweet Talk Radio do not own copyright for this copyrighted material, but under Section 107 United States Copyright Office, Copyright Act 1976, this video, the music and content it contains is for education and or entertainment purposes only.
What is up, y'all? You're listening to B Sparrow on BuzzTweet Talk Radio.
So, according to this article on Examiner.com, Vice President Kamala Harris made a number of misleading or false claims during the debate, but the ABC News moderators declined to fact-check her statements in real time. David Muir and Lindsey Davis faced criticism for pressing former President Donald Trump on incorrect statements while permitting his opponent to make several of her own during the 2-hour debate they moderated in Philadelphia. And I kept wondering why I can't stop wondering why the moderators kept calling Donald Trump president. They throughout the debate, president. That stuck out to me. So the article says, here are some of the inaccurate things Harris said during her first debate with Trump. So, number one, Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. That's what Kamala Harris said. The article says that this is misleading. It says it omits key context that renders Harris's underlying point meaningless. Unemployment sat at 6.3% when President Joe Biden and Harris took office in January of 2021, less than a year after the onset of the pandemic. Government mandates had forced businesses around the country to close for extended periods of time, causing the economy to shed jobs temporarily. But once life started to return to normal, those jobs returned as well. That was already starting to happen by the time Biden was inaugurated. The unemployment rate hit double digits in the spring of 2020, and was falling significantly heading into 2021. The unemployment rate at the end of Trump's term, therefore, had little to do with Trump's agenda. In fact, in the 3 years he was in office before the pandemic, Trump managed to bring the employment rate down to 3.5%, which was lower than the current rate under Biden and Harris. So we're talking about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and the debate, of course, and how the moderators kind of allowed Kamala Harris to make statements that weren't factual. But they corrected Donald Trump on numerous occasions. Number two, that they corrected Kamala Harris when she said, what you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. Everybody is associating the Republican Party Donald Trump to Project 2025. That stuff does not bother me at all. That does not bother me at all. In fact, I haven't even read it. Maybe I should. So this article says Democrats have focused intensely on a policy document produced by the Heritage Foundation in 2023 that contains a blueprint for a future conservative administration. Trump has repeatedly disavowed the project, and his allies have criticized the people who wrote it. While some former Trump administration officials were involved in crafting the policy blueprint, Trump's campaign played no role in it. Harris falsely claimed that Trump plans to follow Project 2025's lead if elected. He has never said this, and in fact, he has repeatedly said the opposite. So they continue to drill this in people's head that Donald Trump had something to do with that document. And this clearly states that he don't. Now, there are some, like it says, there were some people, some former Trump administration officials that was involved in crafting the policy, but it had nothing to do with Trump and his administration. Number 3, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That's what Kamala Harris says. She says again, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. Now, when Harris and Trump spared over abortion on the debate stage, according to this article, the ABC News moderators jumped in to correct a statement Trump made about partial birth abortion, but left unchallenged a statement from Harris about late-term abortion. Women can seek an abortion at any point in their pregnancies, theoretically even late into their 3rd trimester, in at least 7 states and the District of Columbia, which is D.C. for those who don't know. Some of y'all don't know that that's what D.C. stands for, District of Columbia. I know that for a fact. This, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. Some other states allow such broad exceptions to their gestational limits on the procedure that anti-abortion advocates say women can effectively obtain an abortion at any stage. Most abortions occur before 13 weeks of pregnancy, according to the Pew Research Center. However, Democrats have resisted placing limits on abortions occurring later than that, and a small percentage of abortions do occur later in pregnancy. More than 900,000 abortions are performed each year in the United States of this year, America, and 1% of those occur after 21 weeks, meaning thousands of abortions are performed later in pregnancy annually. A baby is considered full term at 37 weeks of pregnancy, and presumably even fewer abortions are performed at that stage. However, it is not true that nowhere in America could a woman request an abortion late in her pregnancy. A woman in any of the states that place no gestational limits on the procedure, including Minnesota and Colorado, will legally be able to seek an abortion in the final months. Am I pronouncing that right? Gestational. The 4th thing that Kamala Harris said that Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if the outcome of this election is not to his liking. She's saying that Donald Trump said that there will be a bloodbath if the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Now, Harris repeated a talking point about comments Trump made in March that completely misrepresented what the former president actually said. Trump never threatened a bloodbath in the literal sense if he loses the election in November. Harris was referring to a quote from a Trump speech at a campaign rally in Ohio earlier this year, in which the former president criticized the Biden administration's manufacturing agenda. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car